What's going on YouTube? This is AJ.
And this is Lance Excalibur.
So we're here to bring you to our non-spoiler review. We literally are just getting done from the theater. Also, check out the suit. I'm looking good.
Join the Empire.
But no, we are literally fresh leaving the theater from watching Star Wars Rogue One.
Yeah,
we're going to try to keep the spoiler story elements. We're really just judging this just off our impressions of the film. And I gotta say, I'm gonna say this. You should spend your money to go to the theaters to watch this movie, possibly twice. And that's high praise for me, because I'm very stingy when it comes to spending my money at the theaters. Okay. That's real talk.
And I'm going to say only spend it once, because it is alright.
No. What do you mean?
Clearly we didn't talk about this before we got on camera.
Whoa, what do you mean it was just alright? Don't get me wrong. The movie has its highs and lows, and this is the most un-Star Wars movie I have ever seen.
No, it's actually very Star Wars.
But no, it's un-Star Wars because they do make strides to break away from a lot of the tropes that they have gotten used to. Even with Force Awakens, they had a lot of the same tropes.
Okay, let's just review the movie thing, because we're going to the spoilers. And
what I'm saying is, like, as a film, it had good pacing. The comedy was there. Sometimes it felt a little bit too forced with some of the references, especially some of the cameos of certain characters like that. It was looking like, okay, like
here's the thing. This is the issue I have with this movie, and you know, without spoiling it, because we're not gonna spoil it, but it was, out of every Star Wars movie, was an adventure. This was not an adventure. This was a self-contained story. This was pretty much the epitome of and you know how New Hope, and literally this was the New Hope, in the beginning of New Hope, how they had this paragraph that started in the beginning. That was that. This movie was this paragraph that went up, and then New Hope started.
A 2-hour paragraph, right?
But this was just a 2-hour version of that paragraph. That's all this was. And here's the thing, I really was going into this movie thinking that this was going to set up something for the new. Here's the thing, I'm all gun ho for the new story of the Star Wars. Hey, just listen to me for a second. I'm all gun ho for the new story of Star Wars. I like after the Force Awakens. I want, episode 8 is coming out, and I want to see what's going to happen in episode 8. I thought this movie was going to set up something that's going to lead us to episode 8. No, this was literally just like a blast from the past, and just giving the fans. This was literally just sucking off the fans. This was like saying, hey fans, I know you guys like Star Wars. Take that.
Okay.
Take that.
Okay.
That
First of all,
it.
you know what? I'm gonna forgive you because what I found out going into the theater was I knew that this was a prequel, and I knew that the story had a closed ending. Like, this wasn't going to be one thing that's going to open up a whole new possibility for Star Wars. You knew how this was going to end. You knew it ended with the setup for the first movie, technically the fourth movie, A New Hope. Okay, so because I knew that, I found out going to the theater that a lot of people didn't know that. They really didn't know that this was a prequel, or they didn't know that, like,
I knew it was a prequel. I just thought there was a reason why they was putting this before episode 8.
But no, the main reason why, I'm just gonna be honest, the main reason why is,
remember, we're doing a review of this movie.
But I'm saying
explain this to me. I'm just
when it came down to it, though, this was something entirely different. All those other Star Wars movies were always magical. They were really magical.
They were an adventure.
This was an adventure, but this was a more grounded adventure. This is okay. Because you know we're comic book fans, right? This was the equivalent of, instead of you following Superman, Flash, and Batman, you're literally watching like the regular beat cop deal with the Joker and everything else, and you figured, this probably ain't, but because no one was special.
Okay, let me make this. All right, let me just clarify my standpoint. Here's the thing. Overall, I thought the movie was all right for the main points I just stated. It didn't lead into an adventure. It was a very closed story. It was about these people and what happens with these people, and that's it. That's all that happens. But but it wasn't like something that made you go far. It was just like you read a small book and then you're done with it, and it's okay. But I want to make this very clear. You're right. It was very well paced. The comedy was there. Everything to make a good movie was there. And that's what I can say, that go spend it, go watch this movie, buy the DVD when it comes out.
Extended Blu-ray, director's cut,
and here's the thing, it gives you all those awesome things you love about Star Wars, but instead those movies gave you on a big scale. This gave you like on the smaller scales, and then that was it. And I don't know, I left feeling like, that's it. It wasn't bad at all, by no means. I think my expectations were high.
I recognize the film tries way hard to establish its own independent identity by doing a lot of things different. Yeah. This movie broke not only movie tropes but Star Wars tropes, but it felt like they didn't want to like full-fledged jump and do something new. They were kind of half-stepping, so it's like for every new thing we do, we don't want to step too far because we don't want to alienate the fans a little bit. So it's like, let's introduce a new concept of a character, but also let's throw in the cameo so that way you know it's still the same people like that. And that was its biggest flaw. And sometimes when it would throw out a joke, we're like, me as a Star Wars fan, I understand the joke. I understand what the sense, the premise, and everything was. But if there was never a Star Wars history, it's like, like what? Like, certain things fall flat. But I appreciated it exactly what it did. One thing I wanted from this was I didn't want Jedi. I didn't want magic lightsabers, even though there are certain elements of that in there. But I wanted a true blue grounded story from a fresh perspective. Even Force Awakens. That's what it was. Even Force Awakens. It really, for all intents and purposes, it really was just a retelling of remastered 2015 version, retelling of A New Hope in a lot of different ways. We can argue about that in a little time. But I'm saying is, with this, you can say, hey, at the end of the day, these characters weren't cookie copy versions of other characters. There wasn't, well, this is their version of Han Solo. This is their version of Luke Skywalker. No, everyone was different. Yeah, I agree.
Here's the thing. I want to make this record. The characters, spot on. Everything about this was spot on. But it just didn't have that element that I was looking for.
You know what?
In a good.
I'll apply this. I'll apply this. You know what? This was a well-balanced nutritional meal. But you didn't have your dessert at the end, so you kind of feel like
you kind of did have the dessert at the end.
Yeah, a little bit.
Right. Stop. But that's for the spoilers.
But nonetheless, like I said, this was an entire spoiler free. We just fresh from the theater. Yeah. We're gonna sit down and talk about it and get into the more nitty gritty. But for most important of all, comment down below. Let us know what you think. Please try to keep the comments as spoiler free as possible. But let us know what you think of the movie, like as a film. Like to talk about the score, the music was so on point. Oh, I forgot that for a second because there were certain moments where I'm looking like I kept expecting to hear like the same score remix, but it was different. I was looking like, yo, things are about to happen right now.
The music was alright.
The music was good. Okay. I'm gonna buy this soundtrack.
To me, it was too traditional to what it felt like old school. It just okay. I give the movie a solid 7. That's where I'm at. I would know. Here's the thing. I'm gonna say this. Check out our spoiler review because I give it a solid 7 now. But because of the ending, which we will talk about in the spoiler review, I would actually give it an 8.5 after the end. But before the last 3 minutes, I say it was a 7. So that's kind of how.
But this music was on point. Yep. Cinematography was on point. The acting was a little underperforming, but it was always solid through. This was a solid movie, and for this to be a solid movie in Star Wars without feeding you the same Star Wars jargon, I full-fledged give it an 8.5 or even just a full-fledged 9 for like the boldness of it. And I hope to see more Star Wars. I'm hearing there's a Han Solo film coming out, and I want to see more Star Wars films that explore.
I'm not happy with these things. It's too much of like we just want all of the old Star Wars. I feel like I said, they just doing this for fans.
Wait. It just remember the good times. This is Mr. AJ.
This is Lance Excalibur.
Watch our spoiler review. Tune in next time. Make sure you hit the like button and be sure to subscribe to our channel for more content. Peace.